I was fascinated a little while back when Brian Hamilton ran a poll on LinkedIn asking people to vote on what they thought was the top leadership skill needed to be able to successfully manage a team. I was fascinated because communication was one of the choices, but people underneath wrote lots of other answers, such as listening and inspiring others, that in my view are part of communication. And so today, I wanted to go back a bit and talk about what communication is. I want to look at the holistic view of communication, what it is way beyond just talking, so that we're all on the same page when we're looking at what leadership communication skills are needed to be successful in a leadership position. So like I said before, in the poll that Brian ran, it said communication is one of the options, but instead of checking communication, a lot of people wrote listening. Now, listening is just as much a part of communication as any of the rest. And I want to go back a little bit into my speech therapy days. Years back, as many of you know, I practiced as a speech language pathologist for many years. And so we have a very wide definition of communication that I think is not necessarily understood by the general population. So I want to go through that a little bit to help you understand how that impacts the way you communicate with your team. So the first part of communication is receptive language, and that's everything that comes in. So that's how we're able to understand messages spoken or written by other people. Then we have expressive language, which is how we use language. That's how we express ourselves, again, in writing, orally, whatever manner. And then we also have what we call functions of language, and that's different ways in which language is used. So language is used to comment, to describe, to persuade, to inspire, to influence. And to be able to do so successfully requires really good communication skills to be able to flow between these different functions of language. And so as I saw it, looking at Brian's poll, the answers of listening and inspiring, I saw that all as part of communications. It's part of the services that I bring to clients. It's not just about helping people talk better. Quite frankly, that's really not much at all what So I use a 4-step model of communication that I have created that I see as sort of the foundational skills needed to be an effective communicator. The first is knowing yourself. You have to understand your strengths and weaknesses, your personality style to be effective as a leader. The second is being able to understand others. So being able to put yourself in their shoes and understand their perspective is crucial to being able to get everybody on the same page and moving in the same direction. The third step of my model is managing reactions. We have to manage our own reactions during communication as well as reactions of others. So think of when you have the skills to, know how to express your needs, but then someone's really rude to you and you get really upset and you don't express yourself in the way you would have wished. Those are those meetings or discussions when afterwards we think, God, why didn't I just say, this thing that we wished we had said, but instead because we were so upset, we reacted differently. So knowing how to manage our reactions helps us to be a better communicator. And for me, the fourth step of the model is communication skills. It's those social skills needed to be an effective communicator. But that's sort of the icing on the cake, fourth layer of really effective communication. Because when we don't have that solid foundation underneath, we're working on skills that we're going to struggle implementing across all contexts. And the model that I use really gets at both sides of communication. It gets the listening, it gets at speaking. Some people need to be able to be more present in conversations and better hear what other people are saying and letting go of their agenda. Some people need to be able to step up and speak up a bit more. And so part of what I do is I have a really customized process that helps you to identify where are your weaknesses. It's not a one-size-fits-all model where I walk you through the 4 steps, regardless of where you sit in your communication skills. It's looking at where you're doing really well, where you may need some support, and then we customize a program together so that it's going to best meet your specific needs. So I hope this was helpful in bringing some awareness to the different facets of communication because it's quite complex. There's whole fields obviously dedicated to it. And I really truly believe that when leaders are able to communicate more effectively with their team, they're able to solve a lot of the problems that drive them crazy on a daily basis. You know, those never-ending meetings or 20 meetings on the same topic, or people kind of sabotaging in their performance, not doing what's expected of them because they're annoyed, post-meeting debriefs that people have to complain about things they didn't like. When a leader has really strong and solid, refined communication skills, getting into those deeper, nuanced skills, that's where we're going to have the ability to address a lot of these issues head on and not be wasting so much time on a lot of the drama that pops up in the workplace.